All right, today we're going to dive into a framework that's all about changing the way we look at work, performance, and what success really means. So, let me start by asking you this, because it gets right to the heart of a frustration I think we've all felt. Does it ever feel like your team is just spinning its wheels? Everyone is incredibly busy, the keyboards are clicking, meetings are happening, but at the end of the week, you're not quite sure what you actually accomplished. That's the huge difference between just being active and truly achieving something. Well, the good news is there's a structured way to get off that hamster wheel. We're going to walk through a powerful framework that helps shift the entire focus from just doing stuff to actually achieving the results that make a difference. And this is it right here, the outcomes-based performance framework. So what is it? It's basically a model that changes the fundamental question we ask. Instead of asking, what did you do today? It forces us to ask, what was the results of what you did? It's all about the end goal. Now, to make this super clear, let's follow a real-world example. Imagine our team's mission is to build a new customer support chatbot for our website. Okay, so here's the big picture. This is the entire framework laid out for us. It looks like a pretty simple journey from left to right, but trust me, each of these steps is absolutely critical. This is going to be our roadmap for the rest of this explainer, taking us all the way from our starting resources to the long-term impact we hope our little chatbot is going to make. So let's start that journey. We're going to break this down piece by piece, starting right at the beginning. And that beginning is always with inputs. I want you to think of inputs as all the ingredients you have on hand before you even start cooking. It's your starting line, everything you're working with. So for our chatbot project, what are our inputs? Well, that would be our budget, right? The 2 developers on the team, the existing customer support data we're going to use to train the AI, but it's also our constraints like a really tight 3-month deadline or the company's strict data privacy policies. This is the reality of our situation before we write a single line of code. Okay, so we've got our ingredients. What's next? Interventions. This is where the action starts. Interventions are the systems, the processes, and the actual activities you use to turn those inputs into something real. These are the levers you get to pull. For our chatbot, the interventions are things like the agile development process we use, our daily stand-up meetings, the actual coding our team is doing, and the specific AI platform, the technology we choose. This is how we're doing the work. Now, all that action, all those interventions, they lead directly to our outputs. And outputs are the immediate, countable, tangible results of what you did. It's the product you can point to. For our chatbot team, the outputs would be things like, we wrote 10,000 lines of code, or chatbot version 1 is now deployed. And right here, this is the critical trap. So many teams stop here. They celebrate the output, they celebrate the busyness, and they mistake it for success. The team looks super productive, right? But have they actually made customer support any better yet? This framework says, nope, not yet. You gotta go deeper. And this slide right here, this is the absolute key to the whole thing. Outputs are what we do. We built the chatbot software. But outcomes are what we achieve, the actual meaningful change that happens because we built that chatbot. Which brings us to the heart of the framework. Outcomes. These are the short to medium-term changes that happen because of your work. This is where we start to measure real, actual value. So what does this look like for our chatbot? Well, an outcome would be a 20% reduction in the number of support tickets that humans have to answer. That's a huge internal efficiency win. Or maybe it's a measurable increase in our customer satisfaction score for support issues. That's a customer outcome. See the difference? These are the achievements that actually move the needle. And if we can consistently hit those kinds of outcomes over time, that's when we create impacts. Impacts are the big, broad, long-term consequences of your work. This is the big picture change you were hoping for all along. We often talk about this using the pestle model you see here. If our chatbot project is a smashing success, the long-term impact might be economical, saving the company millions of dollars over the next 5 years. Or it could be technological, positioning us as a leader in our industry for using AI in customer service. This is the lasting legacy of the work. So, we've walked through the whole thing, from inputs to impacts. But you might be asking, why bother with all this? What's the real payoff here? Well, it creates this incredible chain reaction. When you start focusing on outcomes, everyone gets laser focused on what actually matters. That automatically improves accountability. Because the goal isn't just to be busy, it's to achieve a specific result. And that clarity enhances communication, lets you measure real progress, and, most importantly, it creates this powerful engine for continuous improvement. Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a simple truth. What you choose to focus on, what you choose to measure, that is what will shape the reality of your team's performance. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. When the goal is a clear outcome, it's incredibly empowering. It gives people a sense of ownership, drives accountability, and inspires them to constantly find better ways to hit that target. And that, right there, is the very definition of continuous improvement. So I want to leave you with this one thought to take back with you. Think about your own work, your own team. What is just one outcome, not an output, a real outcome, that you could start tracking today? What's that one measure that could start that crucial shift away from just celebrating activity to truly celebrating achievement?